welcome to this edition of Culture Mosaic, a weekly cultural express that brings you the latest updates on the Vietnamese cultural and entertainment scenes. Music is a universal language because it speaks to you in a way that no words can. It touches your feelings through melodies, and it also helps connect the past and the present. If standing at the crossroads of tradition and innovation and you want to listen to some music of that vibe, let me introduce you our talented artists, both American and Vietnamese. Sounds of cello blended with traditional Vietnamese instruments or Vietnamese traditional music put in contemporary compositions. Are these worth your trying? Let's join us and draw yourself into this special combination. And after music, we will introduce you unique artworks made from common, environmentally friendly material that is common in Vietnam. So just don't go away. Our stories are coming to you in just a minute. Unused coconut leaves to make environmentally friendly paper and artworks. American musician blends sound of cello with traditional Vietnamese instruments. Young Vietnamese artists embrace traditional music in contemporary compositions. Now let's begin our local news just as usual. Hanoi has achieved initial tourism success with 2 shows by the K-pop girl group Blackpink. Over 60,000 spectators were thrilled by their performances at the Mỹ National Stadium, marking the final stop of the band's Born Pink World Tour. Blackpink's 2-night performance provided an unforgettable night of music for fans, attracting visitors from countries such as Thailand and China to see their idols. This has contributed to a sharp increase in tourism to Hanoi in July. Audiences also expect that after the successful concert of this famous group, Vietnam's image will spread to international friends, and more international music concerts will be held in Vietnam. Singapore-based Channel News Asia has suggested 10 ideal hotspots in Asia to escape the intense heat. 3 of those are famous destinations in Vietnam: Sapa of Lao Cai Province, Đà Lạt of Lâm Đồng Province, and Ba Nai Hills of Da Nang City. According to the website, Sapa is an ideal place with rustic beauty and cool temperatures year-round. Ba Nai Hills offers a fascinating experience for those looking for a variety of fun, entertainment, and relaxation activities. Meanwhile, Đà Lạt looks like a typical European resort town surrounded by pine tree forests, hills, and lakes. The Nghệ Tĩnh Ví Dặm Folk Song Festival in 2023 was launched at Ho Chi Minh Square in Vinh City, Nghệ An Province. The festival's objective is to honor and preserve the Ví Dặm art form, which has been recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. The event provides an opportunity for Ví Dặm folk songs to converge and shine brightly, showcasing the richness and diversity of this heritage. Additionally, it highlights the intersection and spread of this art form among different regions and localities. The Lion and Dragon Dance performance by Thắng Nghĩa Đường Lion Dance Troupe in District 11, Ho Chi Minh City, has been confirmed as a Vietnamese record. The Vietnam Record Organization, Việt Kings, verified that Thắng Nghĩa Đường Lion Troupe successfully performed the routine according to the record-setting registration form submitted earlier to Việt Kings. The performance required 5 dragon lions with 10 dancers to stand on an iron ball and move it a distance of 12 meters. This achievement has never been accomplished by any troupe in Vietnam. The fashion show Colors of the Heart was set against the backdrop of life in Hội An during a previous centuries. It included a reenactment of the daily lives of local people who enjoyed a leisurely, warm-hearted lifestyle alongside busy trading activities. The red carpet and over 1,000 outstanding red lanterns created a glittering atmosphere on the catwalk, crafted by the talented artisans of Hội An. Supermodel Minh Tú appeared prominently wearing clothing with remarkable designs featuring bamboo leaf motifs and game parts of Bai Choi, recognized as a representative intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO. The fashion show helped to preserve and promote Hội An's culture as well as foster its integration process. Paper can be made from a variety of materials such as bamboo, silk, and tree bark. In the central city of Da Nang, Vietnam, an artisan is using unused coconut leaves to make environmentally friendly paper. From this handmade paper, he creates distinctive works of art that convey his unique point of view. In this week's edition of Culture and Lifestyle, let's meet artisan Lê Thanh Hà and listen to his special stories about his passion for paper making and artistic creativity.
Mình là một người yêu thích những cái phương thức làm nghề truyền thống. Mình yêu giấy, từ giấy mình tạo tác lên thành một tác phẩm điêu khắc, nó cũng thú vị. Giấy mang lại cho mình rất là nhiều những cái chiêm nghiệm về sự yêu thương trong cuộc sống. Cái đặc biệt của tranh giấy dưa đầu tiên nó đặc biệt từ cây dưa. Dưa ở dọc bãi biển và dưa ở trong các resort thì đến mùa mình phải cắt tỉa cành để cho cây nó phát triển tốt hơn và để chống gió bão. Thực ra những cái cành đó nếu như tụi mình không đưa về để làm giấy thì họ bỏ, nó giống như là rác. Nhưng mà khi mà tụi mình thu gom tất cả những cái đó về làm giấy thì tụi mình hầu như tận dụng hết tất cả. Cái vỏ chanh bên ngoài cái chẻ ra thì tụi mình sẽ phơi khô và lá cũng phơi khô để làm củi luôn. Cũng giống như kiểu là mình xử lý rác giùm người ta thôi, nhưng mà xử lý rác nó trở thành một cái thứ gì đó nó ý nghĩa hơn. Giấy dưa nó có đặc biệt thêm nữa là có một công đoạn gọi là ủ, thì cái đó là ủ để lên men tự nhiên để lấy được cái độ trắng giấy mà mình mong muốn. Cái thời gian ủ thì nó mất từ khoảng 17 ngày cho đến 20 ngày tùy vào thời tiết. Đầu tiên mình vẽ họa tiết bằng tay, xong mình scan vào trong máy tính thì mình vẽ lại trên máy tính một lần nữa để tạo ra bức tranh hoàn hảo ở trên máy tính. Xong thì mình mới sử dụng máy cắt đề can ra. Sau đó thì đưa lên một cái khung lưới, dùng dán lên một cái khung lưới để tạo thành khuôn nét. Xong mình dỡ cái khuôn chữ nét ra đó thì mình dùng nước mình khắc theo cái khuôn nét đó thì cả cái nét đó nó lại mất đi, bởi vì nước nó xịt xuống sớ thì nó mất đi. Thì mình lại phải đầy lại, mình lại lấy nét tiếp, mình lại khắc tiếp, mình lại tạo lớp tiếp. Mình cứ mở cái khuôn đó lên xuống nhiều lần, có thể một bức tranh có thể nhiều cái dở lên dở xuống hàng nghìn lần. Độ cảm nhận của bức tranh có đẹp hay không thì nó thông qua các lớp, rồi thông qua họa tiết nữa. Tranh của tôi thì có thể ứng dụng trong nội thất, trong những không gian tâm linh, trong những không gian thiền, trong những không gian hiện đại.
Hiện tại là nhà chùa đang sử dụng những cái tác phẩm nghệ thuật từ giấy dừa của nghệ nhân Hà rất là nhiều. Cụ thể là những cái đèn hoa sen, những cái hào quang bằng mandala, những bức tranh Phật Tam Thế, rồi là Di Đà, Quan Âm, Thế Chí. Cây dừa là một cái loại cây từ bi độ lượng. Nó chịu đựng những nắng mưa, những thời tiết, nhưng mà vẫn dâng cho đời nước ngọt, cơm ngon, bóng mát. Nó gần gũi với thiên nhiên, với con người. Thì đạo Phật không có đi ngoại nữa. Đạo Phật rất là gần gũi với nhân sinh. Cho nên những cái tác phẩm giấy dừa mà đưa vào cái văn hóa tâm linh nó rất là tuyệt vời, rất là hòa quyện với nhau.
Mình là một người theo đuổi tự nhiên, thì khi đi làm giấy rồi mình làm lĩnh vực, mình đưa những cái văn hóa đặc thù, thì từ những văn hóa đặc thù đó rồi mình hiểu thêm về văn hóa, mình hiểu thêm về tự nhiên, mình hiểu thêm về đạo Phật, mình hiểu thêm về những tôn giáo, về những niềm tin, rồi những cái gì tốt đẹp trong cuộc sống. Mình muốn là một cái sản phẩm nó có giá trị về mặt nghề thủ công truyền thống, duy trì được nghề, phát triển được nghề.
At the foot of Sơn Trà Mountain, in the small house of artisan Lê Thành Hà, many works of art made from Vietnamese materials showcase remarkable creativity and cultural value. These pieces are intended to promote and preserve the rich cultural heritage of Vietnam and Da Nang City, both to domestic and foreign tourists.
Have you ever imagined what it would be like to hear the sound of a cello combined with traditional Vietnamese instruments such as đàn bầu and đàn tranh? This enchanting vision has come to life through the creativity of American cellist Brian Charles Wilson in his latest album, aptly named Tri Âm or Soulmate. Time-honored melodies including Tình ca Tây Bắc, Love Song of the Northwest, Mùa xuân đầu tiên, First Spring, and Chú ếch con, Little Frog have been infused with fresh electronic soundscapes, blending the timeless allure of classical and indigenous Vietnamese musical instruments. This marriage of heritage and innovation acts as a vibrant bridge, allowing the world to embrace the exquisite essence of Vietnamese music. So join us as we delve into the musical journey of American artist Brian Wilson and his connection to Vietnamese music in today's On the Mic.
Talented American cellist Brian Charles Wilson fell in love with the distinctive timbres of traditional instruments after attending a single water puppet show in Vietnam. In 2019, Brian and his friends in Vietnam, who are also professional artists, founded the music band Mandala with the aim of combining the cello with ethnic instruments such as the Vietnamese zither or flute. Since then, Brian and Vietnamese artists have embarked on a journey to bring traditional duets to a number of cultural events, including the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi. Through their performances, they have introduced the beauty of traditional music and the culture of Vietnam. Thanks to his passion for learning and love for traditional instruments, Brian has contributed to bridging the gap between Western classical music and traditional Vietnamese music, moving many music lovers.
Good afternoon, Brian. It's an absolute pleasure to have you with us on the mic today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here.
How do you feel about Vietnamese music, especially Vietnamese traditional music?
I think it's very interesting to me. It's diverse. You know, there's not just one type of traditional music. You know, you got Ca Chu, you got Cải Lương. You know, I remember I went with my wife to the movies. The one time we could escape from our daughter when she was small, we went to go see that movie, Cải Lương, and that was the first time I was exposed to that. And I was like, oh wow, this is very cool, amazing. I mean, I have no idea what they were saying, but I love the style of singing. So there's all these different types that have a deep and rich tradition that, again, I'm still learning. I'm still constantly learning about it, but I think it's a very interesting and beautiful culture.
So Brian, can you tell us about your musical experiences during your time in Vietnam?
When I came in 2018, I started collaborating with different artists. I learned about the Dan Chang and the Dan Bo, and I wanted to start writing stuff for those instruments to create something new, which I thought was like perfect for me because I want to learn from it and then kind of add my own flavor to it and create something new. I just feel like that's where I excel the best.
Brian Chau's love for Vietnamese traditional music grew stronger as he compiled and released the new album titled Tri Âm. True to its name, Tri Âm features songs that are inspired by Vietnamese culture and incorporate traditional Vietnamese elements, accompanied by a just right mix of electronics and traditional elements. In addition to showcasing his skills as an artist, Tri Âm also reflects Brian's love and respect for Vietnam and its people. Brian, along with Vietnamese meritorious artist Phạm Trà My, artist Ngô Trà My, and Chí Minh, performed some of his latest creations at the 10th anniversary of the comprehensive partnership between Vietnam and the United States at the U.S. Embassy in Hanoi.
Trong cái cuộc đời làm nghệ sĩ của tôi cũng kết hợp với rất nhiều các bạn nước ngoài. Nhưng mà đây có thể nói là với Brian là một trường hợp nghệ sĩ rất đặc biệt. Tôi rất là ngạc nhiên tại sao lại có thể có một bạn nước ngoài, nghệ sĩ nước ngoài mà lại có thể hiểu sâu về những cái góc cạnh của âm nhạc Việt Nam, đúng vậy.
Brian is an exceptional artist and demonstrating just how close our two countries are in terms of music. This 10th anniversary of the Comprehensive Partnership Culture Show is just another example of our two countries sharing deep bilateral ties in the arts. And I'm so excited to participate and enjoy this with our friends in Hao Pho and in the community here in Hanoi.
Although he was not born and raised in Vietnam, Brian has developed a special attachment to the S-shaped country through its traditional melodies and musical instruments. With his genuine, enthusiastic, and creative approach, cellist Brian Chau has helped promote Vietnamese traditional music to audiences around the world.
I feel like what we've created here is a real...
Could you tell us about the inspiration behind your new album, Tri Âm?
I think it kind of came back to when we were in America. My wife definitely missed Vietnam a lot. And I would play some of these songs, some songs from like bring her back that sense of Vietnam. So I would be playing those, and I was also trying to write things that had a flavor of Vietnam, because I missed it too, I missed kind of living here. So from there I was like, you know what, why don't I turn this into an album? And I want to bring it back to Vietnam, once we finally do come back. So a lot of it was me just alone in the studio, trying to figure out arrangements of these very beautiful Vietnamese songs, but also trying to write my own stuff. Tri Âm, it's about being able to communicate through music, having a deep connection without necessarily having to talk. Through the music, we immediately understand each other, and we are able to kind of create something new.
How did you combine the cellist and also the Vietnamese traditional instruments in your album?
It took me about a year of recording and producing and all that stuff. And to me, it's just, I love the Dan Bo, so getting to work with Ngô Trà My and having her play on that, and the cello and the Dan Bo, I feel like sounds so cool together. One last thing is that in the streets of Hanoi, so I took these kind of sound pieces and I melded it together with the sounds of the streets of Hanoi, which I thought came out really, really cool.
Can you tell us about the message that you want to convey through this album?
I want to convey in Tri Âm about connection, because I feel very connected to Vietnam. I want people to have this idea of like we talked about, two separate things that grew up separately, but can still find the common ground in the music. So I'm taking my perspective of playing some of these beautiful classic Vietnamese songs and seeing how it's fed back to the audience who actually has this connection with it. and then with their energy, I'm feeding it back. So it's this kind of feedback loop of hopefully good energy. So I hope the message is unity and connection.
Do you define yourself as a musician who will bring Vietnamese traditional music to the world?
Absolutely. I want to continue writing music for traditional Vietnamese instruments and collaborating with Vietnamese musicians. I live here now and I'm very interested in the culture. So having that back and forth with different Vietnamese musicians and creating something new is really important to me. Rather than just trying to necessarily play a traditional song on the cello, which I could do and it would be something different, but it's more about taking the essence of it, putting my own artistry into it, and then creating something new.
Thank you for joining us today. I wish you all the best with your career, and I hope to see more of your fantastic work in Vietnam in the future.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been an honor.
Could you recognize the sound of đàn tranh in the recent track? Playing đàn tranh, a traditional Vietnamese instrument, but with a violin bow, blowing the trumpet into the beat of drums in chèo. This unique combination is the way Lên Ngàn, a special platform for young Vietnamese artists who are passionate about experimenting with traditional materials, creates art. In addition to establishing an open space for art creation, Lên Ngàn also aims to connect Vietnamese and international artists to promote the exchange of cultural and creative experiences, thereby producing a new look of Vietnamese traditional music to international friends. So let's learn how Lên Ngàn breathes traditional life into their contemporary art projects in this week's Connecting Cultures.
In his documentary, See the Sound, Nguyễn Quốc Hoàng Anh showcases his appreciation for traditional Vietnamese music by incorporating it into Western beatboxing. This experimental approach to music practice may seem unusual, as it combines two seemingly disparate forms of music, chèo, a Vietnamese folk art, and beatboxing.
Tôi bắt đầu cái hành trình của mình là cùng với chiếc xe máy, đi rất là nhiều những cái con đường, nhiều cách thức khác nhau và thực hiện những cái bộ phim tài liệu cá nhân đầu tiên của mình. Sau khi trở về thì bằng rất nhiều những cái con đường khác nhau, tôi thật sự là bị thu hút bởi cái văn hóa và cái di sản truyền thống của Việt Nam.
Hoàng Anh founded Lên Ngàn, a cultural and arts platform that aims to connect young artists who share a passion for and concerns about national heritage. The platform encourages young artists to experiment with traditional materials. During their 4-year development journey, Lên Ngàn has initiated a series of creative projects based on Vietnamese traditional materials. Most notably, they have produced experimental plays such as Beyond the Mountain, Endless Dimension, Illusion of the Rhyme, and Sound of Color.
Chúng tôi chú trọng vào việc là phát triển chất liệu âm nhạc bản địa, lấy văn hóa bản địa, lấy những cái chất liệu văn hóa nghệ thuật của địa phương làm nền tảng, sau đó phát triển chúng hơn là kết hợp những cái loại hình của phương Tây. Âm nhạc điện tử nhưng mà thật ra lại là chơi theo lòng bản của tuồng Nam Ai, Nam Xuân, điệu Bắc, và nó chỉ thay đổi cái nhạc cụ thôi. Thật ra nó là nhạc truyền thống.
Em chơi kèn gọi là một lúc đầu là bài, nhưng về sau là em đã theo cái điệu hip hop, theo cái nhạc điệu mà âm nhạc hiện đại. Nó là pha chất màu hiện đại vào thôi, bởi vì truyền thống nó là truyền thống và nó là một cái thể loại âm nhạc mà giúp cho văn hóa truyền thống của mình một phần được lưu truyền, một phần được phát triển và vẫn tiếp thu được những cái nền văn hóa đang chảy từ bên ngoài vào.
Lên Ngàn has founded a community for young artists who are passionate about learning and developing ethnic Vietnamese materials. Additionally, he aims to connect and promote the beauty of Vietnamese music to international artists. To achieve this goal, he has launched the art initiative Tranh 2023. This initiative includes talks and workshops with artists and community performance events, which provide a platform for young Vietnamese artists to be exposed to world music and exchange experiences with international friends.
Before Hong An approached us, we really didn't know much about Vietnamese music at all. Obviously, visiting the Hmong community in Hà Giang was an incredible experience because we saw how they make the khán, and we also saw a lot of people playing different types of music, and it really spoke to the landscape in that way. A lot of it can sound quite melancholic, but actually there's so much richness to the depth of that sound.
Linh Ngan is gradually connecting young artists to the tradition of experimental and contemporary music creations through their own musical practice. This approach brings tradition into modern life.
Những sáng tác mới ấy, nó đem đến một cái cảm giác mới mẻ và hiện đại, nhưng nó có giữ được cái âm hưởng cổ truyền. Đấy là những sáng tạo mang tính thời đại, nó làm giàu cái nền âm nhạc Việt Nam. Trách nhiệm của người nhạc sĩ là biết dựa trên nền âm nhạc cổ truyền để sáng tạo ra tác phẩm mới. Bởi vì âm nhạc luôn luôn là sự tiếp nối. Khi sáng tạo lên, trong bản thân anh là người Việt Nam, anh đã có chất liệu Việt Nam rồi. Anh lại biết dựa vào những cái sản phẩm âm nhạc cổ truyền để anh sáng tạo, thì anh càng đứng vững hơn trên cái ngôn ngữ âm nhạc Việt Nam.
Linh Ngan mong muốn là tham gia phát triển những cái di sản của Việt Nam, đưa nó đến gần hơn với cộng đồng trẻ thông qua nghệ thuật đương đại và âm nhạc đương đại thể nghiệm. Thì chúng tôi rất là mong muốn là có thể phát triển những cái chất liệu từ giai điệu rồi cách thức sử dụng nhạc cụ để làm sao có thể đưa những cái hình thức về âm nhạc bản địa đó nó có thể là có một cái hình thức mới mà bây giờ chúng ta hay gọi là đương đại đấy.
Linh Ngan's young artists have acted as ambassadors, promoting traditional Vietnamese music to the world and introducing Vietnamese culture to global audiences.
And that is the end of our program. If you'd like to catch us online, download the VTV Go app from your Google Play or App Store, or tune in our YouTube channel for more of our programs. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Cultural Mosaic. Goodbye for now.